I'm Anna, the Yarn Randomizer. I had to think for a minute. And this is a quick retrospective of everything that I got when I was at the Jimmy Bean's biggest little getaway in early June. And I think I've got this, set up right. I'm in a slightly different spot. You see my IKEA cubbies here with my 2 chickens there. And this is where I store some yarn. Most of it's stored in the closet there, but I've got these little pull-out tubs that I use in most of the doors here. But otherwise, so slightly different setting, same room, just a part you usually don't see. And I've got all of this stuff laid out in front of me. So I'm just trying to think of how to go over all of this. So for this retreat, just to give you, it was Wednesday night, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So it was like at 3 full days, and it started in the evening the first day on Wednesday and then ended Sunday around like after breakfast time and stuff. So you had 3 full days. Each person had 4 classes, and the 4 classes depended on if you were a knitter or a crocheter, but you could switch classes if you wanted to dip into a class that's in the other side of the fence as far as crafting goes. And then, let's see, and we all got a little 3-hour shopping trip and a tour of the Jimmy Bean's warehouse as well. And lots of great meals and lots of great showcases from manufacturers and just a huge swag bag to begin with. So hopefully you're getting a little bit of the window off of my glasses. I can see that, but hopefully it won't be too distracting, and we'll just get right down to starting with what was in the bag. And I realize I'll put in a picture of the bag itself. So it was a grocery, sort of like a reusable grocery bag style bag, and it was really nice. And it was filled with this stuff. So let's see, I will go through and we'll start with the yarn. Now I'm going to go through these and set them down over here, and hopefully Odo will see fit to leave them alone. Okay, so we will start with, there was a lot of Malabrigo in the bag. And so this is a Malabrigo Rios in polychrome. Really speckled and different colors and everything. And so it's considered a worsted weight. And I have some of this stuff, I have to decide whether I want to include it in my stash. I may hold on to other parts of this for giveaway, so we'll see, but I'm likely to put this into my stash. I have a worsted hat that I love to make and I think would look great in this. The 1898 hat, by the way. Okay, so first we got a whole bunch of Malabrigo. So Rios, how's that there? Let's see what the other ones were. Let's see, I think there were 3 skeins of Arroyo, and these were all kind of single lot, like singles of some kind or another. And so this is a DK, it says here /DK and Sport. And so these were all single colors, not specific dye lots. But let me show the full side of the skein. Whoop, 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 whoop. Okay, let's get that up there. Yeah. All right, so you can see it's kind of a navy, a gray, and then a mixture. And you know what? You'd almost think that these 3 could work together in something. And that may have been the plan. I haven't gone, honestly, I haven't dug through everything that we've gotten because we got patterns and that kind of stuff too. So basically 3 somewhat coordinating skeins of Arroyo from Malabrigo. Really nice. Put those down there. Odo's wondering what's going on here. Now, I think there was one more from Malabrigo here, and this is Makita, and the colorway is Sacred Theater. And here's a really beautiful, understated yarn, and this is made out of, it feels different. Let's see what it is. It's 100% merino. So this is shawl material or something similar, not socks, but beautiful subtle colors and everything. So really pretty, and single ply. It's a single ply. So there's that. So that's already in the swag bag, 5 skeins of Malabrigo. Now next was a big skein of, what is that called? It's called Easel. And this is from Universal Yarn. And this one is, it's a 75-25. So definitely this looks like a sock yarn. I do not know if this is self-striping at all. And I don't know if they have a colorway listed here. Let's see if we see. Oh, here it is. 101 coloring book. Doesn't that make sense? So it might be worth looking up to see if anybody else has made something with this colorway. But yeah, this is 100 grams, more than enough for a pair of socks. Really nice. So that was in there as well. Next was a small skein, 25-gram skein of Shetland Spindrift from Jamieson's. And so a little 25-gram skein of a color called Twilight was included in there. And just trying to look at this, I'm thinking this is fingering, but I will find out for sure. 25 grams, yes, 105 meters in 25 grams. So yeah, this is a fingering weight yarn. So we got a little sample of Jamieson's in this Shetland Spindrift. And then we also got, okay, so now this is Sheepyez, that's how to say it apparently, which I learned at this retreat. And this is their 100%, I believe this is Katona, and I don't know if that's the right way to say it, 100, was it color 253? And I believe, you know, it's funny, it's, there it is, 100% mercerized cotton. So there is some very fine, I'm gonna guess again that this is fingering yarn. They have the 50 grams equals 125 meters. Oh, maybe it's supposed to be more like a sport, but a little bit of cotton yarn. The cotton yarns are not likely to go into my stash. I'm not much of a cotton, 100% cotton knitter, but we'll see. Sometimes I do like to make washcloths, but it doesn't come up that often. Let's see. So these stuff that, I don't remember if I said it from the beginning, but the stuff that I'm not going to put in my stash will go into a pool, I think, for giveaways and everything. Oh, and there was one more yarn in the bag, so we're up to this, and this was from Koigu. And I think you can see there are 3 different mini skeins here, slightly different in coloration, and they've got even a pattern, a Colorscape cowl that comes with it. Yeah, there you can see it pretty well. And so there was that also, and I believe, yeah, was it mini skeins? Yeah, 30 yards of each, yeah, so it doesn't say on here what size oh, there's a little label. How about that if you actually look at it and find a label? Let's pull this out. All right, so this is Koigu KPPPM Demi. It's 100% merino wool, 25 grams. So these are 25 gram skeins, 87 yards. So 3 different colorways for making a cowl. So I will put that down here. All right, so that included a pattern. Now, additionally, in the bag, there was a set of stitch markers there, and they're all different little colors of socks, and these come from Trinkles. So I haven't opened up this pack yet, but this is, yeah, those are super cute. All right, there's one couple of glittery socks in there I really like. All right, and then there was also something unusual. So this Tikri, which I have not heard of before, and it's a bangle bracelet. And so if I can get it over my hand, there we go, ta-da. And so this one I have to give some thought to. I am not much of a jewelry wearer, if you couldn't guess. And so this will probably go in with something when it goes out with one of the yarns when it goes, but it's really lovely. Oh, excuse me about that. All right, so that was the jewelry. Again, that was Tikri, it was the name. All right, and then there were several, actually I forgot, I'll put in a picture of the, there's a little sheep that's a tape measure too, but there were 2 other tape measures. So there's a little sheep, I put that in. And the reason I have to have it tucked away right now is because when my dog sees it, he thinks it's his. He thinks it's a toy for him, and he'll actually sit there and whine if he doesn't get it, which is what happened. And so I actually had to sneak another toy to give to him to distract him from this sheep. So the sheep is safely ensconced up on my desk, and you see what it looks super cute. And then there were 2 more. There was this little snail, tape measure, ta-da, and very cute. And then there was this other tape measure, which was a little unusual, and it came in this little bag, and you can see it's cocoa knits, and it's kind of a neat little bag. And the tape measure itself feels really smooth and substantial. The outside feels very solid, and this is actually a metal tape measure, which I thought was really surprising. So it's a little, almost like, you know, your bigger versions you use at home and stuff, but this is a little one that's metal, and it feels really substantial, very nice. So we had that too. And again, we're still going on the goodie bag here. There was a pair of little scissors. Let's see if we can, yeah, there we go. With hearts for the handles that were in there. And everybody needs little sets of scissors. There was a sheep keychain there that has 3 little sheep on it. I'll set this one over. Oh, I guess I have to put it down there somewhere. I have got everything so covered here that I don't have any place to put stuff. There was a little emery board, not little, big emery board, and I've gotten one of these before. I can't remember how I got it, but this is a really, really nice emery board to put in your toolkit. Every knitter needs to have an emery board with them, because I don't know about you, but I get fingernail snags from time to time. Now then, there were also some pattern books in the bag, and so one was from Jody Long, and I'll provide links to these if they're available on Ravelry, so you can see all the different patterns that are in them. But this one's called Cables Across America, and they're just a bunch of really, oh, there's a nice contents page there, and a nice sweater. So a lot of nice patterns in here. I don't know what the usual yarn is that it calls for. Jody Long. Oh, so Jody Long. Okay, so there's a brand of yarn, so I'm clueless about this yarn, but we got a book for Jody Long, her yarns, and some patterns in there. And then we got a Louisa Harding pattern, and I'm thinking this might be 350 gram balls. I thought it might be usable for that Malabrigo, but it could be. And so this one's Liana, a shawl. Looks like a nice rectangular shawl. I'm a big sucker for rectangular shawls, and so there's that. We got that. And we got a book of Noro patterns in there. And again, some really, really beautiful patterns in there. And again, I'll link this. If I can find this published issue in Ravelry, I'll link it below. All right, and then finally, here we go, a Malabrigo book, book 1. And so it has a bunch of their patterns. Let's see if there's a neat page to show off. Yeah. I'm not great at picking sample pages to show. Let's see if there's one with a couple of kids' patterns in there. Let's see if we get that. And again, I'll link this book as well, so maybe some ideas for how to use that Malabrigo yarn. So that was, I believe, that was everything that was in the main bag. There was one other thing that I did not actually bring back, and that was a big felting board and a whole bunch of different colors of wool to felt with, and because we had a felting class. So I will kind of wrap up at the end of the 4. Well, actually, you know what? I'll cover it right here because I'm covering some of the things that were given out in the classes. So there was a class, and so in your bag, in your goodie bag, oh, there was more in the goodie bag, sorry. Okay, whoop, rewind. Okay, let's continue with what was in the goodie bag, then I'll get to what was in the classes. So one of the things in the goodie bag was this chicken boots, and it is I believe a pattern holder. So you see how you can fit a pattern in there and have it to carry with you. It folds up really nicely. Has this nice piece of elastic there. Super cute. And it came with a making up needle as well. We got a few of those. All right, so there was this, and this is Chicken Boots made by Della Q, is where this came from. And then there was also and some of these things I do not know exactly what they're called. This is a buddy case that came in a nice cardboard box, and so there it is. A really super cute little case, and still got the silica packet in there. Let's see, and it has a carrying card and stuff, and so it's just a neat little box with some canvas material, and it might be faux leather or real leather, one of the two, and snap that closed. Just a really nice little traveling box. And then you think this is going to stop at some point, but it just keeps going. All right, this next thing, it also came with a making up needle and a little notebook that came with it. And it came with care instructions, but it was, oh yeah, one other thing it came with. It was this, I'm trying to remember what they call it. This is the midi backpack. And so it's a Della Q midi backpack. Here's the straps back here. I've put this on, but it also has a handle to carry it with. And this is substantial. This is very hefty, feels really great. It's got a great interior with lots of spots for things as well. And it has these 2 eyelets on the front, and one of the things that came with it was this set of stitch markers and this big safety pin type thing for holding them. And I think you can get it through that set of holes there somehow. But yeah, just really, gosh, what a big deal. Every one of us got one of these in our bag, and it's just kind of amazing because I've looked at these Della Q bags a lot and have not purchased one before. So this is my first chance at having one of these. Very nice. Really just amazing how much was in the bag. So it doesn't stop there. One more. Actually, no, there's still more. Oh, look at that. Oh my goodness. And there's more. Another thing that was in there was one of these big, really large mesh bags from La Bien Amie. And again, it's a Della Q. And I really love these mesh bags. I like being able to see what's inside them and everything. So that is just really, really beautiful. And so and there's more. Let's see, I think those, okay. There were 2 more items, and these will be like no big surprise. There was a Skazel, if I'm saying that right, needle sizer. Let's see that, yeah. And a little thing for gauge. And there was also, I did not take this out of the package yet. And let's see if I can show it in a way that you can see it. It's a Like needle sizer, also a big fancy one with large 4-inch slots for doing gauge checks. One size has centimeters, one size has the inches marking. If I tear this open, I'm going to make a whole lot of sounds. So let's see if we can do that. It's there we go. It's really nice. One of the fanciest I've had, I think. Interesting. So another needle sizer. Then, okay, finally. So that was all was all the stuff that was in the bag, if you can even imagine that. So we're getting this huge bag practically overflowing with yarn and patterns and those backpack and everything else. And then we had 4 classes. So the 4 classes I took, one was with Carson on knitting, knitting posture and kind of taking care of yourself and how you're sitting and that kind of stuff. And that was really interesting. It was really interesting to see some videos of how some people knit and how efficiently and position of the hands and things like that. So it was a really interesting class. From what he was saying, he has a longer class that he really likes to do, and you can probably find him from his webpage at different kind of shows he's going to be at. So I recommend trying out his class. Now, another class I had was the needle felting, which we had the board and the wool from. And I actually the thing we made in there was we felted wool around bars of soap, which was a whole lot of fun. There was a whole trick to it and stuff. I gave those to my friend Lavon, and so she's got those, but I also did make a little felted ball of some of the leftovers. But yeah, I gave that away when I left because I know needle felting can be a whole lot of fun and everything, but it's not something I'm going to be doing. And so I figured somebody else could make good use of that kit. But I do have this little souvenir. Now, so there's Carson, there was the needle felting, and then the next class was one with Dawn Barker of Barker Wool, and she went through a class showing some of these, the assigned pooling techniques that she has in some of her patterns. Now they gave us, this yarn was actually in a cake. I put it back into a skein because I wanted to relax and take it easy until it's ready to be used. And she had a pattern that we were trying out that was given away with the class. And so this is a beautiful green with the purple highlights that you use to do the assigned pooling with. And this is in Madeline Tosh Merino Light, but it's one of her colorways. And this one, let's see if we can find the name of it. Ah, there it is. This'll be interesting. And you can totally get it if you think about thistle plants and blooming and their blooms and the green with the blooms. So very nice. Let's hold that up there. Really beautiful. All right, so that was given in a class. And then another class was about colorwork techniques and doing a try at a steek. We did a steek on some colorwork. And so the yarn was Jamison's double knitting. And we got a couple of skeins of that, and there were different colors. People got different colors. These were the 2 I got. So it's white and burnt ochre. Ochre. Let's see. How does ochre? Oh, I'm doing a terrible job of rolling my R there. But yeah, so some Jamison double knitting. Really beautiful. And it is, I believe it has to be 100% wool. Somewhere in here. Anytime I'm trying to find something on the label, I always have the worst time of it. 100% pure Shetland wool. No surprise. Now, we made a little color work. Let me grab it because I dropped half of it. We made a little color work swatch and we cut it in half. And let's see, the half that was cut was this half right here. This was cut in the middle. Now look at that, how it's not unraveling at all. And so what we did was we did the color work, and then we did a little needle felting on the middle here, and then we cut it, and you can see there's no raveling or anything like that going on either side of that cut, or not where I felted it and stuff. So pretty cool. And so we tried out that technique in the class, and that was fun. And then let's see. So that was it. That was 4 classes. And then we had also, I'll go over the yarn I bought last. when I went on the tour of the facility. But the other thing we had was manufacturers came in and talked about their yarns and kind of what they're doing and what they have and everything. And so I wanted to show you what we got from those. Now, Birdie Parker came in, and she does jewelry. Let's see if we can show that. Yeah, there we go. And she gave away a set of, in a really neat container, some stitch markers in there. Let's see, and they're ones that have the similar knitting stitch look. Let's see, can we see that? Don't know how well you can see that, but they're really cute. So 3 stitch markers from her, and she did a whole talk about her work and what she does, which was really neat. And then there was, let's see, that goes there. Dawn Barker also came and talked about her, the dyeing of her yarn and the designs that she does and everything. And she gave us a little stitch marker that was very, very cute. There we go. I really like that one. It's got a nice etching on that little wood there. And then Lemonwood came, and they gave us a strap with kind of the Jimmy Beans logo. Let me actually just take this out of here. Ooh, I did not want to make a whole lot of noise here, but that's happening. Okay, so we basically got a strap and a little kind of measuring tool. Now, the Lemonwood is famous for these little holders that you wear on your wrist that the yarn, your cake of yarn, can sit on, and you can knit and it unspools without tangling off the outside of the cake. And so it kind of holds and supports the yarn there. I actually have one up there from when I went to the, the Knitting in the Hills, was it Hill Country Weavers, when I went to their retreat. And so they had a Lemonwood thing for hanging the yarn from. Now, because I'm unchangeable center pole kind of person, those are less useful for me. So this and that center pole tool, the carrier that you can wear on your wrist, I will probably tuck away into a giveaway at some point. So that was really cool. And then we had several manufacturers come in. So one of the ones that came in was Blue Sky, and they talked all about their yarns, and we all got a skein of their organic cotton. And this ended up being a really beautiful color. Let's see what this colorway is. Does it say? Color Caribbean. There it is. Really beautiful. And all the presentations were really fascinating, really interesting to watch. So I'm pulling this one out. This one may have been in our swag bag to begin with, this one-of-a-kind skein, but oh no, they gave it away at the end of a talk, that's right. So we each got a Madeline Tosh, and this is their Twist Light. And this is a one-of-a-kind. And so that is a really beautiful skein. Now the Twist Light is a good sock yarn, 75/25. So yet another skein of yarn. It doesn't stop there. Then we also got a skein of Earth. Earth Yarns did a whole presentation that was pretty interesting. And this is color 2212. And this is their 100% cotton bulky weight. And this one may not go into my stash, but it feels great. Actually, it feels great. So, and then we had, this was Cascade came, and they gave everybody 2 skeins of cotton. So one was a 100% mercerized long staple cotton, noble cotton. Got this one here, and this one is colorway 80. And so it's a kind of a nice tan, kind of maybe verging into mauve. And that's 100% cotton. And then there was another one called Botanica, 100% organic cotton. And it's kind of a speckled, very pale green. And this one is say here 100% organic cotton, and the colorway is 104. And so yeah, so 2 skeins of yarn from them. All this is collapsing in a big pile. And then Barocco came through, and they gave us what is really kind of if you've ever heard of a flight of beers or whatever, like a little sampler set of a certain type of drink or that kind of stuff. Well, they gave us a little, let's see if I can hold these, oh, all up at once. They gave us a little sampler set of a bunch of their yarns. And so these are each, I think, a little 20, these are each 25 grams. And so they have, is it Lanas? I always want to say Lanyas, but Lanas Light in this really pretty blue color. Let's see, oh, 78121. And then a sample of their 100% cotton Bozzolo. And that is in, and it doesn't have the color. Okay, I think because a lot of these are little sample skeins, I don't think they're standard packaging. We got Remix Light, which is 32% nylon, 27% cotton, 24% acrylic, 10% silk, and 9% linen. So really interesting mix. And we got a sample of Vintage Sock, which is acrylic, 52 acrylic, 40 wool, and the rest is nylon. And then finally, we got a skein of Carousel, which is 52% wool, 48% acrylic. So we got a bunch of little samples to play with. And they also gave 2 full books of patterns. And that on the cover is a really neat mesh top. And then another book there, and again, I will link these below. But yeah, and so that was from the presentations from the manufacturers. And then finally, towards the end of it, there was a table that had kind of like stuff you could grab, you know, that were leftovers from things. And so there was a little sample kit from Bryson, I think Bryson Distributing, and it looked like it was kind of like a little giveaway. They had 2 samples, tiny samples of their DK and their fingering. So they had 2 little samples in this little tiny, this little package. And it had a neat little pair of scissors that I liked. And then it had some had a nice little box with some needle holders and a few other things in there. This was not something that was given away generally. I think there was only one of these on the table, and since I'm an early bird, I got a hold of this. But the thing I was most interested in was this little, was it yarn bra or whatever you want to call it? This one is by Buffy, let's see what it is, Buffy Ann Designs. And so I really liked the look of this yarn bra, yarn cozy. And so I picked that up because of that. And so I got this, I'm going to try it out soon with my yarn. And that covers all the stuff that was in the bag, stuff that was part of the classes and given in the presentation. So finally we're down to what did I spend some money on? Now, I think I talked about this in my last podcast. I picked up a ball of this Regia Festival colors in Tomorrowland or Tomorrow because I really liked the look of these colors. They're just so neat. They have such a neat look. And this was I picked it up because it was on sale. And part of this whole thing was because we'd spent the money to attend the retreat, we got there's a percentage that you get back from your purchases at Jimmy Bean's. And so we got a store credit for that much. So I got like I had $125 of store credit. And so I used that to buy this yarn. So I spent $40 more than what I had in store credit, which not bad, right? But yeah, so there it is, the Reggie. I picked up 1 skein of Reggie's sock. I also showed this on the last podcast, and this is another Barker wool in Oxalis that I'm giving away. And so if you're interested in this, you have to go to the podcast and comment on Oxalis. No mentioning giveaways. because then the scammers and stuff come out to play. But this is a beautiful Tosh Merino Light in the Oxalis colorway that I picked up. And then I picked up another Barker wool in a colorway that was made just for the conference called Mama Needs a New Pair of Shoes. Now look at that. I love it. I can't wait to try some assigned pooling with this skein of yarn. It will be beautiful. So I have to think about which assigned pooling technique I want to use and then go with that. Let's see, I also picked up, and they're becoming, I gotta get these back together. Let's see if I can do that. I started, things are coming undone. Well, that's not gonna look great, but that'll be good. There were some Arroyo, again, more of the DK Sport, these singletons that were on sale. And so that label wants to stay out there. And so I picked these two up because I thought they went together really well. And I was playing around with doing some helical knitting on a very simple piece to put these together in. So I really just like those two, the rich colors there. So I picked up those. And then finally, this was yarn I had decided to, I wanted to get before I went out to the retreat. You can see it's getting warm in here. I turned off the air conditioning. I'm getting into trouble. So they have a brand of yarn called Yarn Citizen at Jimmy Bean's Wool. And this is the Harmony DK, and it is 50% wool, 50% alpaca. And I believe they make it out of leftovers from the spinning mills, one of the spinning mills down there. And I felt somebody's garment that they had made from it, and it knits up really nice. And I thought I'd like a nice neutral color for a DK weight sweater of some kind. So I picked up, let's see, how many of these did I get? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 skeins of the DK in this colorway. And so that was my big purchase that I had waited to get there. And what was great about it was to be able to open, like pull out these boxes full of this yarn and take and actually look at the colors of the yarn. So see it in person and feel it in person and decide if you wanted it and stuff. So that was, doing that tour was really cool as well. So I think that's pretty much it. Let's see, I've got I think in the guidebook there are maybe some patterns or some information on the courses. Oh yeah, and they gave us some designs, like there are some patterns in here as well. But I'll show you, let me show you the cover without the plastic coating on it. So there was the whole big cover for the booklet that had your whole schedule and everything else and that kind of thing. So it was really cool. So if anybody's interested, they've actually set the dates for next year, and it'll be in early June again. And so yeah, I highly recommend it, particularly if you like really snagging a whole lot of swag, as well as getting a great deal on buying some yarn. And that's it. So I hope you enjoyed this go over of everything that happened there. And again, I didn't even talk about all these incredible meals that were served and just all the ladies we got to meet and everything. And it was just great. It's always great. If you've never done a retreat, I highly recommend it, because getting together with a bunch of people who totally understand your obsession and can kind of talk about it, and you get to appreciate all each other's knitting and that kind of stuff. It is like just a lovely experience. So try it if you get a chance to. I really recommend it. And don't worry about being too experienced. I mean, we had folks that were there who'd only learned to knit just, a few weeks ago and stuff. Everybody's welcome at those events. So yeah, so I hope you enjoyed it. Hope it was useful. And in the meantime, until the next episode in a week, please enjoy your knits.